So have you guys seen the Unstoring StoryCorps posts?
Yes, I have.
I don't think I have.
So we have what's called the Unstoring StoryCorps, and if you go to the wiki and you go to the main page, and to do that you can click on the Kingdom Arms. That will always bring you to the main page. And under the featured pages section, under articles, there's the Unstoring StoryCorps.
Huh?
And people are invited to send in stories on any topics. It doesn't have to be the current topic. It can be a previous topic. And I'm always looking for ideas for story topics that folks might enjoy reading stories about.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I collect stories by hook or by crook, however I can get my gritty hands on them.
You're a story goblin. We cannot fault you for that, not truly.
One of the topics that I've been debating posting, this is a very emotional time for a lot of people, and I don't want to add to the weight that they're already carrying, but asking people to tell a story about someone that we've lost, someone who's no longer with us. I get a lot of people who say, well, why don't we have a page for so-and-so? Well, it's because they didn't have a page built for them when they were alive, and now that they're dead, that process is much, much more complicated. But we can build stories, we can build pages of stories about them. That we're allowed to do.
Mm.
To post their photograph or an actual people page, that involves some legal hoops that we have to jump through, which I'm absolutely willing to do. But oftentimes we can't get those permissions. I've been working with someone for over a year now to get the permission from the family of Master Lucchese to build him a page. Lucchese knew about it, he wanted it, but by the time he was ready, it was too late, and he was not strong enough to sign the document granting permission. His family thinks it's a great idea, but it just hasn't been a priority. So it can be very, very hard to get that permission after somebody's gone. But we can collect stories about them. And so we do have a story page for Master Lucchese. We have a story page for Ragnar. We have one for Branwen O'Braligan. And various and sundry other folks. But we've lost a lot of people. And I know that people have stories about them that they'd like to share, but collecting them, that would be the problem.
Veja, would you like a quick story about one of our past kings from 21 years ago?
Is it one that you experienced personally?
Personally. I was as intimate to the situation as they come.
Then yes, by all means.
It was my first call fours, and we had spent 3 weeks leading up to this, all gleefully talking about how Trimaris was going to completely stomp us in the open field battle, because that was the first battle of the war, and we were anticipating being outnumbered anywhere 5-3 all the way up to 2-1. So we get on the field, and we're outnumbered 2-1. I mean, their line goes off the other end, folds back over. They're 4 ranks deep, we're 2, and we don't even cover the whole width of the field. So it's best 2 out of 3. They called the first fight. Both armies meet. We got slaughtered outright. Then all of a sudden, on the second round, the 2 sides meet, and there was this big swirl, and all of a sudden, I was killed early enough. All of a sudden, the marshal tasked me to get up. I get up, and I realize there's 2 people left standing. And they both have Unstoring stars on their chests.
What?
It's like, by some miracle, we'd won the second fight. We were still in this. So they line up for the third fight. At this point, every knight in the kingdom is on the front line, and they are ripping, roaring, and ready to go. I honestly remember one knight was physically hanging onto his squire's belt because the squire was getting ready to run like a bat out of hell across the field. And They called go. We went in. It was a giant meat grinder. I think that circle went around 3 times around the field, full rotation. And all of a sudden, all that was left was this little cluster of Onsteorans, and one of them was clutching a banner pole, and that was it. Trimaris had spent a 2-to-1 advantage and lost twice. So that night at court, oh my God, we were running on nothing but adrenaline at that point. Court was borderline frat party level loud. And then they gave out like 3 or 4 awards, announced 2 people for Centurion. Then the king stood up. It was His Majesty, now the late Duke Richard. And he said one thing. He goes, today, we taught the Trimarans how to fight. Tonight, we're going to teach them how to party. Court closed. And we exploded out into the camps. And yeah, I'm here to tell you, we started that night off right.
Do you remember which Gulf War that was? What year?
It was spring of '98, because that was my first Gulf. I hadn't even met Lilith yet.
Okay. Very cool.
Gulf 7. It would have been Gulf 7.
Thank you.
Almost certain of it.
I will transcribe that and add it to his Rhine page.
That was the year the Trimarans got a Viking longboat stuck in a tree.
What?
Yep. They'd taken a Ford, no, it wasn't an Explorer, might have been a Jimmy, but they'd taken this old car and stripped it down to the frame, no seats, the frame, the wheels, and the steering. That's it. And then they had built this mock Viking longboat over it, and they had about 8 people sitting in it, powering it Fred Flintstone style with their feet. And on one of the hills at Gulf, actually it's the hill that's now 5 Points. If you got kicking hard enough, you could get that thing rolling fast. And I was on watch that night, and I remember hearing this ungodly crunch in the distance out of eyesight from Merchant's Row. And the girl I was with, we were both on watch. She's like, "What was that?" Like, I have no idea. So we go over there, and I kid you not, we come up, and there's this Viking longboat. It's 20 feet long, on its butt with a nose all 20 feet up, stuck across this branch. And there's 2 guys stuck in the wheel wells. They can't get out because they're laying on their back. And there's one guy standing on one of them. He's got his foot in this guy's chest. And they are doing emergency salvage of the 4 beer kegs, going, "Get the beer, leave the guys. Get the beer, leave the guys." I'm just standing here looking at this like, what have I gotten myself into? Everything was gone the next morning, but I'm here to tell you, it was stuck in a tree that night around 10 o'clock because we heard it go.
Helena, it looked like you were speaking, but you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I was speaking. I just forgot that I had muted.
No worries.
That sounds like it would have been somewhat horrifying to see in person, because, oh boy, that could be some legal issues there. But that's amazing.
Reference previous comment about young single guys left unsupervised.
Ona, you mentioned Penzic. Have you ever been to a Gulf War?
Several.
Do you have any fun Gulf War stories you'd be willing to share?
Fun Gulf Wars. I remember a certain countess using ass and bruiser racing across the field battle with her. A ballista is supposed to be 3 people, and Trimaris wouldn't come to her, so she took the ballista to them.
Mm-hmm.
But she only had 1 bolt because the 2 people that were carrying her bolts couldn't keep up with her.
Which countess was that? Sounds like Octavia.
No, Octavia and I fought in the ravine battle together as combat archers. No, different countess. Got my first kill at Gulf War in the ravine battle. I aimed at the king and got one of the knights that was next to him. And I had been told that knights don't recognize combat bolts. But he saluted me and walked off the field. And at that point, I said, I've done it. I'm gone. And I went home and got a shower.
So, hi, Ace. Welcome. I apologize. I was actually working in another window on the wiki, and I did not see that you were waiting. So my apologies for your wait.
It's okay. Thank you.
We're just kind of sitting around talking about the wiki. I don't know if you've ever seen it or if you have a page.
No, ma'am.
You've never seen the Historians Wiki. Well, it is the online archives of the Historian's Office. Items that can be publicly shared are posted there, and you can visit it by going to any web browser and typing in wiki.onsteora.org.
Thank you.
It is a little bit over 900 pages. There's pages on all of our current groups, though some of them are a bit outdated. There's about 375 pages on individual Onsteorans. You'll find information about awards, groups, traditions, artifacts of the kingdom.
Wow. Yes. Look at all of that.
Sorts of stuff. And you, as an Onsteoran, are welcome to have a page as well. We encourage and invite anyone who lives and or participates in Onsteora to have a page.
Thank you.
Beta,
Yes.
is there an online version of This Is All About Me on the wiki? Is there an online thing I can fill out?
Yes, absolutely. So if you go to the Kingdom website, go to onsteora.org,
Mm-hmm.
go to Offices, and you're going to see the Historians page.
Mm-hmm.
If you click on the Historians page link, that will bring you to the page for my office, which I can't actually get to at the moment because the cat is hiding my start button. There we go.
Mine wants to go outside, so he's been sitting on the mouse.
So if you go
But yeah, I'm familiar with the main page, so
okay,
go
so
play and
yeah,
see. You convinced me.
historian.onsteora.org, and then when you're there, there's a link at the top of the page that says Wiki Persona Submission. It's on the right-hand side. And if you fill that out, I will build you a page. I'm in the process of building 2 pages for folks today. They submitted their information yesterday, and I'm just waiting for them to review what I've provided. And in one case, I had some clarifying questions that we needed answers to before I can publish the page. But
I'm working on getting a persona registered.
you do not have to have a persona registered to have a page. You don't have to have an official persona at all. You don't have to have your heraldry or name registered.
Don't have to be a paid member.
Don't have to be a paid member.
Oh, cool.
Don't have to have any particular rank. You don't have to have been playing for a specific period of time. The only requirement to have a page on the Onsteoran Wiki is that you live currently or in the past and participated in Onsteora. That's it. That's the only requirement.
Very cool.
So one of the initiatives that we're doing with the wiki is to try and make it more inclusive. So we're adding new sections, working with our diversity and inclusion officer. So now people can list their pronouns if they want. There's also a section for in case of court. So if they have any particular restrictions that might affect their ability to participate in court, or just general information. Like we had somebody who said, I'm severely allergic to this thing, and this is where I keep my EpiPen.
Oh, that's smart.
And you have my permission to use it. If I'm not breathing, please do. So we have a special needs section where that kind of information can go.
Yeah, that's smart. That's super smart.
We have a number of people in Onsteora who are trans or who are agender. And helping them feel like they're just as welcome is important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's something new that we're doing. We just started doing that at the end of last year when I took over the historian's office.